Dog theft increased by 20% during the pandemic, with the equivalent of 7 dogs a day being taken across 2020. Now, one director has decided to document what it means to the detectives trying to crack down on the rise, even talking to some of those stealing our beloved pets. Let's take a look.
These ones here are about £3 a pop. These bigger ones here, £7 grand.
Thinking about putting things in place for my little ones, so when they grow up, they might be able to have the opportunities that weren't immediately available to me growing up. I guess I've just prioritized my own gains. I'd be a fool to tell you I'm doing this for any other reason other than to get paid.
Joined now by Beya Kabelu, producer and director of the film, and the pet detective himself, Colin Butcher. Hello to you both.
Good morning, Kate.
Good morning. It's good to see you. See, this makes my blood boil. The very thought of somebody stealing my dogs in order to make money out of it is infuriating. Can there ever, Colin, be a reason for that to be acceptable?
No. At the end of the day, if you have concerns about any dog whatsoever, then you just simply contact the police. You don't take the law into your own hands. But the trade in puppies is out of control, and it's only going to get worse. And it's because there's so much money that people can make in trading illegally.
Beya, why do they do it?
They do it because there's such demand, Kate. So, you know, the film looks at our social media gratification. It looks at our obsession with celebrity culture. And I think that the more I investigated and looked into this subject matter, I realized that people are just, they do it because there's so much money to be made and because there's so much demand.
Beya, there was suggestions that some people do it in order to make money, in order to feed their families. Is that the case? And is that a reasonable excuse, I suppose my audience would be asking this morning?
To be honest, I don't think there's any excuse to be part of any sort of like nefarious activities. I think what the film does is it tries to show all members, all contributors as three-dimensionally as it can. And so you don't have to like these individuals, but whilst you're watching the film for the 11 minutes, you have to at least hear them out, hear their motivations, hear their methods, and try and have some sort of understanding of who they are as people.
Colin, what happens when you manage to recover a dog and then you take it back to the family?
That is what keeps me going through many, many cold wintry nights. The reunion at the end of the day is the very, very special moment of what I do. But to add what was just said a few minutes ago, there's no excuse for stealing a dog. It leaves families deeply traumatised. And there's plenty of support within the community. You don't have to go out and commit crime. But when you start focusing on dogs, it's a member of people's families. It's really, really traumatic when a dog is stolen. There's never an excuse for doing it.
No, I remember one of my dogs being stolen 25 years ago, and I can still remember exactly how I felt about it at the time. What common mistakes do people make that allows people to steal their dogs?
A dog can only be stolen really when it's unsupervised. So people are a little bit careless, or they let their guard down. They take the dog for a long walk and they pop the dog into the car at the end of the walk, or they're distracted easily, or they allow the dog to run off out of sight. You have to remember now that dogs are very, very valuable to a thief, and always assume that somebody is watching. So just keep your dog supervised. It's very, very difficult to steal a dog that is actively supervised.
And can I also add as well, a thief that I spoke to, I spoke to more than one thief whilst making this film, and the first told me that he would literally go to green spaces, look for dogs off their leashes. He'd always be accompanied by a female to look inconspicuous. He'd go over, pet a dog, play with it, pick it up, look the owner in the eye and say, don't follow me, and jog off in the other direction. So brazen intimidation in broad daylight. So I think you have to be vigilant because, you know, sometimes it can be your own common mistake. Sometimes you might just find someone who, as I say, will just use intimidation to try and sort of wrest your dog away from you.
Yeah, and if you've also got your baby with you, you know, what are you going to do? You've got to look after the baby, and then somebody's making off with your dog. I just can't even begin to imagine, Beya. How do we see the movie? How do we see this short film that you've made?
So it's actually it's the first film to be launched on TikTok initially on Friday at 7 p.m. And then on Sunday, it will be launched on Netflix's YouTube channel at 2 p.m. So yeah, watch it, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's try and, as I say, raise awareness, galvanize and kickstart a movement. And hopefully we can get the law over the line, because there's still, to this day, no law that punishes people for stealing dogs.
Well, there should be. Tell me what I can do to help, Beya. The detective and the thief. Thank you both for joining us on the programme. Thank you.
You're welcome.